What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have our Dawn of Majesty final 20 card reveals. This is really awesome. I'm very excited for this because, we had the whole new Beetrooper archetype getting its first reveals. We have some other TCG exclusive stuff coming. We have some OCG imports here, and we've got the whole list here out and ready. So unfortunately, I don't have all the artworks for the new cards, but trust me, Beetrooper looks way more clean than I ever thought they would. Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization is just probably taking a minute to make sure they have everything right. So they're not up just yet. So I'm just going to be going off of the Yugipedia things, which they don't have the artwork up for all of them yet. So feel free to check out either Revs cards or Lithium or Kali Effect. I believe all three of them, and maybe even other content creators too, did their own pack openings by getting early boxes from Konami. So feel free to check them out, see what's going on there. But today, let's get into these cards. We got a ton of stuff to go. Here we go, Baby Mud Dragon to start us off. Level 1 Dragon Tuner, okay. Love the design, by the way. The design looks awesome. 0 attack, 200 defense. This card, if this card you control is used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner if you want. If this card is sent to graveyard as synchro material, you can declare a type or attribute, then target a synchro monster you control, and it becomes the declared type or attribute until the end of the turn. Not bad. I mean, that could definitely be something that could be factored into a certain mini combo, little interaction, maybe either specific, synchros that you want to make, that you want to keep synchroing up, but they need a certain type of material, whether it be a certain attribute or type. This helps you manipulate that. Also nice that you can manipulate this to be tuner or non-tuner. That definitely comes up. And yeah, cool card. Definitely could be part of some interesting combos down the line. I believe that's actually the only card they had artwork for, so love it. Next up we have is Pizzazzle. It's a Dark Fiend Pendulum level 1 monster. Scale 1 as well, 500 for the stats. Pendulum effect says once per turn you can target one card in your other pendulum zone. And this card's pendulum scale becomes the level of that pendulum monster card until the end of this turn. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except by pendulum summon. And the monster effect says pendulum summons of your monsters cannot be negated. So on field just keeps you from being negated, keeps you from solemn strikes, solemn judgments on your pen summons, which is pretty nice, gotta say. And then its other effect is fine, right? Like it could be nice, a nice card just to like copy a scale nice and simply. But saying you can't special summon except by pendulum summon is really quite brutal. There are certain ways to make that work. If you're just going to pen summon something like Sloth or Jackal King or whatever cards that you don't need to link off or whatever, that are like part of your board anyway, that's fine. But there are definitely going to be situations where you want to continue to play, and this guy kind of stops that. So fine, interesting pendulum card. Next up we have Knight's End Sorcerer, Spellcaster Synchro, level 6, 2300 attack, 1400 defense. And he takes Knight's End Sorcerer exactly plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. I believe this is like an older classic kind of Yu-Gi-Oh card, like a level 2 tuner or something. I don't remember exactly what it does, but okay. If this card is special summoned, or if another spellcaster monster is special summoned to your field, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. Okay, so on summon, just like banish a card from grave. Not bad. If this card is destroyed by battle, or this card, its owner's monster zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target a level 4 lower spellcaster in your graveyard and special summon it. So that could easily just bring back your Knight's End Sorcerer. Again, I don't remember what he does. I don't remember him doing anything too crazy, but that's kind of cool. I saw the artwork on this. The artwork looks amazing, by the way. It's a super rare, which is cool. Cool card. Like, I don't know. It does take a specific tuner, though. But we do have the new, like, Synchro Overtake. So you could just, like, summon Knight's End Sorcerer straight out of the deck with that and get into this guy pretty easily. So, who knows? Next up, we have a Link monster called Ra 10, the Heavenly General. It's a Link 3 Earth Warrior. Interesting. 2200 attack, and he requires any 2 monsters with the same type. So, very generic. Once per turn during the standby, you can target one face-up monster this card points to and special summon a level 4 or lower monster with the same type as that monster from your hand to your zone this card points to. So kind of reminds me of like a really bad summon sorceress, right? Like summoning from hand instead of deck, but still could be interesting. At the start of the battle phase, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. I really like that this says the battle phase, which means on your turn, you attempt to enter battle phase, boom, pop a card. And if your opponent can't clear him off the field during their main phase 1, they're going to give you a free pop potentially if they try to go battle phase. So very, very cool. I actually think this card is not bad at all for that pop effect. It's just so free. We see stuff like Ningirsu, who, like, yes, it's a non-targeting, non-destruction removal, but you have to send another card you control, whereas this guy's just free every single turn. Kind of nuts. And he points 2 arrows down. I think this card's actually pretty decent, for sure. And he's a common, so easy to get. Next up, we have DDD, Different Dimension Derby. This card is a normal trap. It reads, if you control a face-up monster that was ritual summoned, fusion summoned, synchro summoned, exceed summoned, or link summoned using a normal monster as material, you can target one card on the field and banish it. Not bad. It's more of just like a Magic-y card, if anything, right? Because Magic-ys are making anything with like normal monsters. Keep in mind that's normal monster, not non-effect monster, so I don't believe tokens count as normal monsters. So if you do just do a Hauki Fibrax combo, this card doesn't really help that necessarily. But it does help stuff like Magic Key, maybe even potentially stuff like World Chalice. Not a bad card. I mean, it's a target, but it banishes, which is pretty nice. So very cool. I dig it. Then we get to the Beetrooper stuff, all right? We already see the first one. I don't remember exactly what the name is, but it's like when it's normal or special summon, it summons another copy of itself from the deck. And then it says while they're on the field, you can only special summon insects. So it kind of has like that guard dragon stipulation, which a lot of them end up having, but they actually do they're actually better than I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. Okay, Beetrooper Scale Bomber. Artwork on all these, by the way, is insane. I cannot wait for you guys to look it up because the artwork looks so clean on all of the Beetrooper cards. Okay, if an insect monster is normal or special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, nice. Just jumps out of the hand really easily when any insect card is summoned. When a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, quick effect, you can tribute one insect monster and destroy it. What I like most about this card is this card just super generically is nice for insect decks, right? It's an extender that's also a disruption. Just a decent extender that jumps out of the hand so freely, but then is like a solid disruption for sure. I dig it. I definitely dig this card a lot. Also, I think this is actually 1,200 and 2,000 defense. I think that's actually a small typo there. I think it's actually 2,000 defense, but really cool. Love that. Next up, Beetrooper Sting Lancer. This is a wind insect level 7, 24 and 18, so pretty big boy here. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target one insect monster in your graveyard and one monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, place the targeted monsters on the bottom of the decks. Secondly, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Beetrooper Spell or Trap card from your deck to your hand. All right, so kind of a lot going on here. Okay, pros and cons. First and foremost, this card gets you access to your spells and traps. Really nice. We'll get to those in a second. But unfortunately, he's level 7, so he can't be normal or anything, so he's not really a starter. He's definitely an extender. First effect is actually nice, right? Going second, or not even going second, but just like in the middle of the game, once there's an insect in your grave, this card's now a DD Crow that also summons itself and then will get you a search. So once you get in position for this card feels really solid. What I will say is, one, it's only during main phase, so your opponent can obviously play around with stuff like trying to do stuff in battle phase or standby phase, so this card can't activate yet once they know what it does. But also, turn 1, this card is horrible to draw. I mean, not entirely horrible. If you get hand trapped, then great, because if you get hand trapped, you probably can put an insect in grave, and your opponent would have a monster most likely in grave, and then this guy could trigger to then, get you the follow-up. So I guess as an extender playing through interruption, it's fine in terms of like monster interruption that's going to end up in grave. So Ash and Veiler and that kind of stuff. That's totally fine. But I feel like a lot of turn 1s, this card is going to be dead. It's going to be dead unless you get hand trapped. So I don't know. I think it's still a good card for sure. I just don't like that it's like not great in that situation. I just don't like playing decks that like want to go first, but also have cards that are just like awful to see going first. See what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a cool card. I still think it's good, right? But I I don't know. We'll see. Next up, we get into the Link monsters. First up is Beetrooper Armor Horn. Earth Insect, Link 2, points up and down, and 1,000 attack. Takes any 2 insects. Again, I like that they're leaving this open for genericness with insects, right? We're getting the new Insector card. If that card's insane, maybe we could see Insector Beetroopers come around, be pretty cool. I don't know. You cannot special summon monster except insect monsters, so that's just the Guard Dragon stipulation. Once you link this off into an insect that doesn't lock you like that, cool. Both the effects are hard once per turns. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon an insect monster. Again, this is just a double summon for every insect archetype. This gives me Tri Brigade vibes. How the Link 2 just gives you the ability to summon any Tri-Beast from hand, so it does add synergy for any Tri-Beast archetype. This does that for Insectors, right? Like, what if your play is to start with one of the Beetroopers that gets you like the 2 bodies on board to make this, and then this gives you the extra normal summon for an Insector card, and then you start playing like with Insector cards. Like, that could be really cool. Second effect, you can banish 3 other insect monsters from your graveyard to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Not bad. I mean, once you're later in the duel, that could be a huge like just free body on the field that then gives you an additional normal, and you haven't committed your normal yet. So that's pretty cool later in turn. So not a bad card at all. Definitely a nice extender there. Next up, we have Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. This is a Link 4 Insect Earth monster. Points up, down, and bottom left and bottom right. So it has like the Appaloosa arrows. It has 3,000 attack. Really nice. Again, generic. Any 2 or more insects. When this Link Summon card has 3,000 or less attack, which it starts with, by the way, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. Can be destroyed by battles, keep that in mind. You can add special summon monsters except insect monsters, of course, and you contribute 1 insect monster to activate one of these effects. You can either special summon a Beetrooper straight from deck, or this card gains 2,000 attack until the end of this turn. So obviously that you're not using the second one as often, I would imagine, but it can be an out to something like Dragoon. You can already bait Dragoon and just make this. He'll become 5,000 and walk right over him. The second effect, I think, will tend to be the nicer one. This is a card that'll definitely make more use of something like your Sting Lancer. Just summon Sting Lancer straight out of the deck. And get his search for the counter trap or the field spell, which are the only 2 we have so far, but they're both actually really solid. So really, really cool. Like that a lot. That's nice. Or you can even grab the Scale Girl so that you have her disruption effect live. Very nice, honestly. All right, then we get to our spells. The only spell is a field spell. You can target 1 Beetrooper monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but cannot attack this turn. Also, you lose life points equal to its original attack. So that's like good and bad. Like if you're going to reborn this guy, obviously that's strong, but you're going to take 3,000 life points. So just be wary of that. A lot of them are smaller, but you do have guys like this guy that if you want to go for that big play, you got to eat some life points, but still really good. You can't attack with it that turn, but if it's just a free monster born, and this is a field spell, this is just every single turn you can do this. Like that's pretty solid. Second effect, if a face-up insect monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, that includes your own, special summon a Beetrooper token. It's just a level 3 insect earth token, 1,000, 1,000. You can trigger this yourself if you play cards that like pop themselves. Like, I don't know, the Insector stuff sometimes pops themselves, huh? I don't know. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. And the last card we have here for the Beetroopers is their counter trap. This card's kind of cool. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Beetrooper, negate the activation and destroy it. I would have loved it if this said insect monster, because everything else has been so generically insect, but maybe this card would be a little too good if it was generically insects, but still really nice. I would like it a little bit more if it could negate spells and traps also, but I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. I still think it's a good card. Other effect, during your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard and you control an insect monster with 3,000 or more attack, like the Link 4 that seems to be pretty easy to make in this deck, you can banish 1 insect from grave, set this card to your field. What's really cool is there's no stipulation that this card banishes itself after using this effect, like Salamangreat Roar or anything like that, or the never mind. I was thinking of the Orcus counter trap, but it doesn't work exactly the same. Anyway, these effects are once per turn, only once per turn. So if you can't negate on your turn and then still use its effect on your end phase, that same end phase, but you could negate something on your opponent's turn, which I'm sure you would do all the time, then do it on your next end phase, which is really cool. And it just does that every single turn as long as you still have an insect with 3,000 attack. So that's really, really solid. That's a nice disruption. It recurs itself. All you have to do is do what your deck wants to do anyway. And that's really, really cool. So all of these, of course, including the other monster I mentioned right before we got into these, very nice. All right, then we have imports. First up is Link Apple. This card's not crazy, but you can reveal it in hand, banish a random face-down card from your extra deck. Then if it's a Link, special summon this card. Otherwise, discard this card and draw a card. So it's either an Upstart Goblin or it's just a free body on field at the cost of a random extra deck slot. Dino Wrestler Iguana Draca. This card's cool. I actually don't think it's that bad. It summons itself by discarding another dinosaur. Then you contribute a dinosaur, including himself if you want, to target a Dino Wrestler in grave with a different name and special summon it in defense mode. So in a weird dino combo, this could be used to like get a Pankratops back from grave, which is kind of cool. I don't know. I don't think it's amazing, but it's interesting to say the least. Next up, Ting Dangle Zhreth. It's a flip effect monster. On flip, you can take a flip monster from your deck and either add it to hand or send it to grave. Not bad. Searches any flip monster. Kind of cool. And if this card is in your hand, you can discard one other card, any other card, to send a Ting Dangle monster from deck to grave. And if you do, special summon this card in face down defense position. Also not bad. Kind of extends itself onto the field, which is nice, while also getting a send from deck. Honestly, not a bad card, all things considered, for Ting Dangles. Next up, we have Shinobi Insect Hagakuremino. This is one of the OCG imports. This card's been out for a while. It's just a generic insect link, too. That's pretty good. It takes any two monsters with different names. While this card points to a monster, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. Whatever. And if a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effect, generically, yours or your opponent's, you can special summon a level 4 insect monster from your hand or grave, but banish it when it leaves the field. Honestly, not a terrible extender. If you can like use like insectors like that's being pointed to by this card to destroy itself, to then like do something else, and then this card still reborns an insect from grave, doesn't negate its effects or anything, it just says it's banished when it leaves the field next, that could actually be pretty good. So I'm interested in the Beetrooper stuff for sure. They look really clean. A lot of their effects are actually better than I thought. I'm definitely going to grab one or two of this guy just in case he comes up in that deck. Next up is Flying Carp. There's another card. It has a quick effect to discard a water to gain 500 attack. Whatever. But when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you contribute this card to special summon any fish, sea serpent, or aqua monster from hand or deck. That includes like sea serpent like Coelacanth. There's like some crazy shit that card can do. You do have to kill something by battle though, and this guy starts at 500. After that, will go to 1,000 after one discard, and each effect is a hard once per turn. So you gotta do a little workaround to be able to beat over something. But if you could definitely do some cheeky shenanigans with this card for sure. Next up is Goku Finisher. It's a normal spell. Targets a Goku link you control until the end of this turn. It gains attack equal to its link rating times 1,000. And then it deals piercing for the rest of the turn. So if you give a link 4, target a Goku link 4, it'll gain 4,000 attack and deal piercing. For the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot declare attacks except with Goku monsters. I like that it's not just the Goku monster targeted with this, it's any Goku. So you can make that one guy, whatever, 8,200 now with piercing, and then the other guy's going to deal the last finishing blow for damage. Really nice. Actually, not a bad Goku card. This could be a one-of in Goku decks to like finish duels. I don't know. It's interesting. Trickstar Fest. This card's kind of cool. It gives you 2 Trickstar tokens, but you can't normal summon or special summon monsters the turn you activate this except for Trickstars, so that's the only downside. But also, if any Trickstar monster that was special summoned from the extra deck would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from grave instead. So it's also a Balinx for your Trickstar links. So honestly, not a bad card. I really don't think this is that bad, right? Because it just gets you to like a link 2 at least, and it's protected. You could do some shenanigans with that, for sure. 2 frogs with 1 hop. Pretty cool card. Also, like, this card becomes insane if, like, Konami just gives Trickstars, like, a link monster that, like, is disruption. You know what I'm saying? If they gave, like, a Trickstar monster, like, the ability to disrupt your opponent, then this card becomes, like, insane. Especially if it's, like, a link 2. Even if it's a link 3, this card becomes pretty good. Because then it's disruption, you'll have protection on it, and this card gets you 2 out of the 3 materials you need without your normal summon. I like. 2 frogs, 1 hop. This card's kind of crazy. It's a equip spell. You can target one monster in your opponent's grave, special summon it to your opponent's field, but negate its effects and equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. The equipped monster cannot attack. Also, monsters cannot target it for attacks. And if this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is used as fusion, synchro, execute, or link material, you can take control of the monster that was summoned. So, kind of weird. I don't know. Like, it's like if your opponent reads this card, they're just going to be like, oh, I just won't make anything with this. But I guess you could do something like Reborn a Sky, like a hand trap to a Sky Striker's player's field, and they don't want to like link with it because then they'll have to give you the monster they linked into and they had to waste resources for it. And if they don't, their Striker spells are off for the rest of the duel. I don't know. Could be something spicy in weird decks. And then Stardust Dragon. This is one of our Starlight rares. Very cool. We kind of could have guessed based off of the set being what it is, but gotta love it. We'll just see if Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization has an update yet. They do not yet, so I can't show you any artwork, but it is what it is. Honestly, pretty cool. I mean, none of the specifically amazing stuff like Deco Talker Heat Soul that I was hoping for, or Code Talker stuff in here. Hopefully we get that sooner than later. Still some cool imports. Still actually kind of excited for Beetroopers. This is what, 6 cards here plus the extra card that's going to be a promo for us. I think for maybe Burst of Destiny. I can't even remember exactly where it's going to be, but whatever. We're going to get that card too very soon. And hopefully, based off of how we've seen with like Plunder Patrol, started with 6 or 7 cards. It wasn't quite there yet, and then it got another wave of like 6 cards. I really hope Konami just throws another 6 or 7 Beetrooper cards at us in the next set, and then this archetype can really, really pump. Plus, we're going to get the new Insector card. If that card's crazy, which I think it needs to be, we're only getting 1 Insector card. You got to make it good, Konami. Please make it good. We could be looking at something interesting. So I'm definitely going to pick those up. Definitely going to see what I can do with them. And I'm really excited. I'm excited. I mean, like, I don't love this set a ton overall, but there's definitely some stuff in here that I'm going to be looking to pick up. So let me know in the comment section your thoughts on all of the new cards we went over here. Sorry the video is so long, but it's 20 cards, right? 22 minutes, 20 cards. It's almost a minute a card. I think that's pretty good, right? Thank you so much for watching as always. I will see you in the next one, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't. All that shiz. I'm sorry for rambling. I will see you in the next one. Peace.